Man, if you guys did not make it out to the No Fear Ladies Conference, you missed it. You know, I always gotta add a little spice, I always have to do something a little different. So I caught up with my girl, Kim Jackson. She's a news reporter from Tulsa. And we really got a chance to sit down and just wanted to do a little interview style.
Then I started pursuing journalism, and then it's either you go home, go hard, or go home, you know? And I didn't have really a lot of places to go because we were on our own. Since I was 18, I've always been on my own. So I guess I developed some grit, and I laugh now because when I talk to teen girls, I tell them things like, you know, it doesn't matter who supports you, it doesn't matter who's at home, you know, it matters what you decide to do.
You know, just your story and about the journey. What should the people out there get? What do you want to share with them about what we learned here, those of us that are in the house?
I just think it's really cool that you tackle the subject of fear, something I think everyone deals with, and I love the fact that you had ladies on the podium that are willing to share their stories, be transparent, because I think that when you're transparent and you tell your story, then that's how other people grow and understand about God's love, forgiveness, God's grace.
So I put together a panel of awesome women to put on the Get Positively Lit teen edition of the No Fear Ladies Conference.
And so for me, I knew what I had and my value within me, I knew that that wasn't going to last a long time, but that's where I was at that particular time. And so anything that y'all want to do, I would encourage y'all to speak it into existence, and not only just speak it into existence, but I encourage y'all to write it down.
What knowledge did you drop on the girls today?
Well, I wanted to talk to them about just how their childhood is a big thing as far as it contributes to their early adulthood. That fear is basically false evidence appearing real, and that they have to conquer their fears. And not that fear would never be there, and fear is not necessarily bad, but fear is basically a challenge of new territories and new terrains. And so if you have that fear that come up, it's basically how you handle the fear. If you don't let the fear overcome you, you overcoming the fear. And that just lets you go to a whole nother level.
That's what's up. That's real.
And so now when I walk by the mirror, especially this morning, I fit into a pair of pants I didn't fit into last month. And so I said, man, this is great. It's going good for me. I mean, I still have, you know, fat, but it's okay. And so when I look in the mirror, I'm like, wow, they fit. And so you kind of just look at yourself, and when you're really feeling yourself, and you love the way you look, and you're really confident, what do? I need my phone, because this looks really good, right? You know, your makeup looks good, you start taking a selfie. But who's ever looked in the mirror and just taken a picture like that? We do it all the time, ladies, come on. So we take little pictures of ourselves, and we're content with ourselves. We're happy when things are well, when we look good. But what happens when this mirror begins to reveal things that we don't want to see?
I just love the perspective that you gave us.
Well, I spoke more on the woman in the mirror, and size doesn't matter. And so we spoke about a compact mirror, and I went over a huge, large size mirror. And so when you see yourself in a large size mirror, it is all of you. And most of us operate out of a compact mirror. God wants to take us out, and so He doesn't want us compact size, He wants us big size.
Hi, I'm Karen, and I spoke today at the No Fear Leadership Conference, and I hope that the women who heard me learn that they can forge through their fears and accomplish their goals, and to take pride in their successes.
And last but not least, I want us to take ownership of our success. Women don't do that. If you ask a man why he succeeded, what do you think he's going to tell you? Why? He worked hard? Because he's great? Because he's smart? Right? I mean, that's what men are going to tell you. If you ask a woman why she succeeded, what do we get? Oh, I don't know. I got lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. I had a great support team. See how we bring everybody in, but we don't say that we did something.
You know, this event is a major undertaking every year, and I really love what you had to add today.
Every new bottom you find yourself sitting at, represents that many more people who can relate to your story, who you can look in the eye and say, I know what that feels like. And I know that His grace is sufficient because I've experienced it. It's one thing to hear a story, it's one thing to read it in a book. But when somebody's lived it, there's an authority in your story that is not there if you haven't lived it. So whatever it is that is your story, don't let it go to waste.
Yes, so I shared a little bit from my book I just published. It's called Built to Break, When God Writes Your Story and All Hell Breaks Loose. And the part that I really focused on was that question, do you want to be right or do you want to be free? And how in the lane of being right, you have a right when you've experienced trauma and heartache and hard things to be angry, to be bitter, to be unforgiving. You're justified in feeling those things. You have that right. However, you also have a choice. And the choice is you can be in that lane or move over to the other lane, which is the lane where you're free. And that lane to get there is through forgiveness. And so we just talked about just my personal journey of walking through that process of forgiveness and how it's really not about the other person getting off the hook or them getting away with what they did. It's about us getting freedom, taking ourselves off the hook, and just simply releasing the expectation or desire that the past could be any different. That's really bottom lining what forgiveness is. And that when we do that, we get our power back and we can move our lives forward.
To be here, listening to these incredible women of God.
Yes.
And I tell you what, if you have any dreams at all, make them come true. And you can do it. Of course, God is helping us. Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you.
And I'm just really, really happy that I came to this conference today. And Wyjuana, I thank you. I love you. The devil tried to get me not to come today, but I tell you, I am so grateful that I came. And I enjoyed myself. Thank you.
What is this? We all know what this is, right? It's obvious. Nobody has to tell me that it's a fire starter. All I have to do is flick it. It has some kind of chemical in here. It's got friction. This represents that person that you knew they were a fire starter from the beginning. You know, that baby that comes out of the womb holding up their head already? Like my daughter who didn't even cry. She's looking at the doctor like, put me back in. It was warmer in there. This is that person, even if they crawled faster than everybody else, they walked fast, they went to school, they got straight A's, you know, got a college scholarship, got into every college they applied to. You just knew they were going to be successful. You knew they were a fire starter from the very beginning. Very obvious. When you see this, unless you're from another planet, you automatically know that this plastic encasement contains the ingredients to start a fire. Am I right? Okay. Then some of you may be more like this. I'm a Girl Scout, my daughter's a Girl Scout, and my son has been a Boy Scout. Some of us may be more like this. These are 3 little pieces of wood. They might be kindling, but they might not, but we're going to say they're kindling for now. And if you've ever been camping and you had to start a fire, you know that you have to find little bitty pieces and they have to be dry. So this is that fire starter where the fire is started once the conditions are right. So these have to be dry. You have to also have something, an accelerant to start a fire. If you're a scout, then you know there's also a specific configuration. I actually went to a Girl Scout meeting not too long ago and they were showing the girls how to start a fire. And you can't just lay it there and do any old thing. You know, you make a little teepee with them. You know, it has to be a certain formation. So this represents the person that maybe you didn't start fast out the gate. You know, maybe you just kind of ambled along and, you know, you did the usual thing. You know, you went to school when you were a kid because it's required by law. You know, you got a job. It's not necessarily what you wanted as a permanent career, but you needed money, so you got a job. You know, maybe you went to school, you went somewhere. It didn't have to be 4-year. You got a vocational degree, you got on-the-job training, or maybe not. But all of a sudden, or maybe you're not there yet, but if the conditions are right and you get the right opportunity, you too can be a fire starter. The same way that these 3 pieces of wood have to be placed in the right conditions, in the right position, and something added to actually set them on fire. So maybe you're that one that needed a mentor. The mentor was the one like a flame that would set this on fire. Now this last group, this is who I really want to talk to. What is this? What is this? It's lint. Lint is kind of nasty, especially this lint. I'm just going to tell you, it's intentional that I did this. This lint has some of my dog's hair in it. There's paper because one of my kids left tissue in their pocket. It's mostly gray lint, but there's also pink and red. This is that person that you may feel like your life has been a total mess up until this point. All kind of hodgepodge, you don't know what's going on. You got a little piece of a job over here. You got a piece of a house over here. Maybe you feel like your car is a clunker. You don't really like it, but it's getting you from A to B, at least most of the time. You know, all kinds of things have happened to you in your life. You were rejected, you were bullied as a kid, maybe you didn't even have your parents, or maybe you had them, but they didn't treat you right. But let me explain something to you about lint. Do you guys realize that lint is one of the most flammable things on earth? You can start a fire in your house by letting too much lint stay in the dryer hose. You're not supposed to let lint fly around all over your laundry room. The Boy Scouts take lint when they go camping. Because if you can't find anything else, and I know this to be a fact, my son's scout leader would actually take a big ball of lint when they went camping. Lint is highly flammable. So the reason why I'm speaking to this group right now is because I don't care what mess you feel that you are, somebody told you that you are still a fire starter.